All praises to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and peace to everyone joining me on this program. This is the Fountain of Israel's Bible Studies program, and as always, it's an honor for me to stand before you on the Lord's holy Sabbath day. Now, before we get started, let me go ahead and encourage you to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Don't forget to smash that notification bell because I don't want you to miss any of our lessons. Check the description box down below. Donation links are there if you feel so inclined. And with that, we're going to go ahead and start our lesson. Now, this lesson, let's go ahead and get back into some of the deep portions of the Bible. And so the title of this lesson is The Seven Seals and Seven Trumpets of God. Seven Seals, Seven Trumpets of God, where we're going to be dealing a little bit of the end times, a little eschatology, explaining some of the scriptures, looking at some of these end time prophecies, and try to make sense of it all, make sense of what's going on in today's world. And so that will bring us to Revelation 5, and we're going to look at the first 5 verses. Revelation 5, and we'll look at the first 5 verses. Now with that, we're going to look at verse 1, and it says, "And I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the backside sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, Who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof? And no man in heaven nor in earth, neither under the heaven, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. And I wept much, because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon. And one of the elders said unto me, Weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, has prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof." Now we're going to look into some of the 7 seals. We're going to get back into it. But we have to understand all this, is a symbolism. It is apocalyptic language in the scriptures. There's apocalyptic language in Revelation. Most of it is. And is a lot of symbolism. But some of the symbolism, it is talking about the end times, talking about events that has not happened yet, right? Or some events that is currently happening, some of them. So we're going to look at some of these seals just to kind of determine, is some of these things happening right now, right? So let's go ahead and take a look, and we're going to go to Isaiah 5. Isaiah 5. Isaiah 5. And when we get there, we're going to read or start at verse 8. Isaiah 5 and verse 8. It says, "Woe unto them that join house to house, that lay field to field, till there be no place, that they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth. In my ears, said the Lord of hosts, of a truth many houses shall be desolate, even great and fair, without inhabitant. Yes, 10 acres of vineyard shall yield 1 bath, and the seed of an omer shall yield an ephah. Woe unto them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink, that continue until night, till wine inflame them. And the harp and the viol, the tabret, the pipe, the wine are in their feasts. But they regard not the work of the Lord, neither consider the operations of his hand." Let's pause to note. So far, he's just saying, hey, everyone's just kind of doing their thing. Everybody, you get up and you get drunk, you just have a good time, not considering the things that are coming, not considering what the Most High is doing. Like it said, the operation of God, not considering any of these things. We look at today's events and we can see some things, those who are more spiritually inclined or biblically inclined, at least, they see some of the things that are happening, and it starts to make sense to them. They have a biblical mindset or a biblical point of view. Some of these things actually start to make sense. We're like, hey, wait a minute. Okay, the scripture spoke of something like this. Now, again, we're talking about prophecy, right? And some of these things happen on a small scale, in a micro scale, somewhere in history. But we're talking about something that's going to happen on a global scale. So history may not repeat itself, but it definitely rhymes. And so this prophecy will come to pass when people are behaving in such a manner, right? And so they're saying, like, when they're talking about viols, tabrets, pipes, and harps and all this, playing music, right? Music is going to be playing. They're having a feast, having a party, just having a good old time, like nothing is happening, like nothing's going to happen. Everything's been calm for so long that, hey, everything seems like it's going to continue in the same manner. But let's look at 13. Therefore, my people are gone into captivity. Bingo, because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst. Therefore, hell has enlarged herself and opened her mouth without measure, and their glory, and their multitude, and their pomp, and he that rejoices shall descend into it. A lot of people are just partying their way into the grave. Hell has enlarged herself, made room for more people because more people are going every single day, even when it doesn't seem like it. 15. And the mean man shall be brought down, and a mighty man shall be humbled, and the eyes of the lofty shall be humbled. But the Lord of hosts shall be exalted in judgment, and God that is holy shall be sanctified in righteousness. Then shall the lambs feed after their manner, and the waste places of the fat ones shall strangers eat. Woe unto them that draw iniquity with cords of vanity, and sin as it were with a cart rope. That say, let him make speed and hasten his work, that we may see it. And let the counsel of the Holy One of Israel draw nigh and come, that we may know it. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, but that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Pause to note. Let me ask this of you, brothers and sisters. Do we live in such a day? Do we live in a day where we call evil good and good evil? Everything is upside down and topsy-turvy. The things that you thought were good, you thought made sense, now is turned on its head. It just simply doesn't make sense anymore. We're not going to talk about, we talk about the rainbow community. I don't even have to get into that. You guys already know about that. Everything is backwards. To get to where someone can be trained, you can't say what you are. Words don't even have meaning anymore, or the meaning has switched. Everything is depends. It's subjective. Well, it kind of depends. Or, up is down, down is up, left is right, right is left. Nothing makes sense anymore. Woe unto them that call good evil and evil good, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. This is what we have today. We don't know whether we're coming or going. It's easy to confuse people. And we know that it's the enemy, that the prince of the power of the air. We know that his influence is here. How dare you want anything that is moral? Look at our society today. We have a hookup culture, and just casual hookups is the norm. Look at the current gender war that is out there. They're warring against each other. Look at the political climate. Look at the economic climate. Look at the morale in the Sunday church. The stats that stands for those outside of the church are the same stats that are for those in the Sunday church. Oh, we are in moral decline. How can we deny it? By every single metric. Marriage is down. Divorce has come down. Divorce has been up, but it has come down. But that's because marriage has gone down. First time in many years, birth rate. The birth rate has gone down. People are just not trying to build families anymore. I could go on and on and on. And I'm pretty sure you guys see some of these things yourself. I'm pretty sure that some of these you've experienced for yourself. Brothers and sisters, this is definitely a moral decline. Part of the signs, part of the symptoms that tells you, that indicates that we're in the last days. One of the red flags, if you will. Let's continue in 21. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine and men of strength to mingle strong drink, which justify the wicked for reward and take away the righteousness of the righteous from him. So if you have enough money, you can buy justice. It doesn't work 100% of the time, but it works sometimes. There's some people who of means, very, very wealthy, very, very rich, very, very powerful, that get away with crimes because they have enough money. Now, sure, there's going to be some sacrificial lambs for that agenda because, you can't have a 100% rate and people will fall. But if you have enough money, you can buy justice where people will look the other way. It's unfortunate, sad, but true. It says to justify the wicked for reward, that's paying for judgment, and to take away the righteousness of the righteous for him. Look at some of these Sunday pastors that align themselves with celebrities and top achievers and stuff like that, and then scandal come out, and now that Sunday pastor is linked with that celebrity. You've seen it for yourself. I don't have to make this up. 24. Therefore, as the fire devoureth the stubble, and the flame consumeth the chaff, so their root shall be as rottenness, and their bosom shall go up as a dust. Because they have cast away the law of the Lord of hosts, and despised the word of the Holy One of Israel. Despised the word, the Holy One of Israel. Let's keep going. Just giving you an idea that the end is near. The end is coming. This is what's happening. This is what the day and time and hour that we are living in. Some of us never thought we would see the day, but yes, it is here. Now, how long it lasts, not sure. But I would say to you that it is here. It is here. We're going back to 5, Revelation 5, and we'll pick it back up at 7. And he came and he took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne. And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and 4 and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of saints. And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to God by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation. Now, who's the one redeemed us by his blood? Okay, let's continue. And has made us unto our God kings and priests. And we shall reign on the earth. We shall reign on the earth or reign in heaven. We shall reign on the earth and reign in heaven. Class. Just want to see if everybody's paying attention. And I beheld and I heard the voice of many angels round about the throne and the beast and the elders. And the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000 and thousands of thousands. So we're over 1 million, right? Just add the zeros, right? Saying with a loud voice, Worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and blessing. And every creature which is in heaven and on earth and under the earth, and such as are in the sea, and all that are in them, heard I saying, Blessing and honor and glory and power be unto him that sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb forever and ever. And the 4 beasts said, Amen. And the 4 and 20 elders fell down and worshiped him that lived forever and ever. Let's go to Revelation 6. We're going to read the first 2 verses. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts, saying, "Come and see." And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon it had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. Okay, so let's look at that. He said, and when I saw the Lamb open one of the seals, okay, let's look at that. John, 1 John 4 and 3. Let's go to 1 John. 1 John chapter 4. Okay. 1 John 4, verse 3. And every spirit that confesses not that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is not of God. And this is that spirit of Antichrist, whereof we have heard that it should come, and even now already is it in the world, and already now is in the world. Okay, so now we're going to continue. Okay, that Antichrist is in the world. But let's continue. And we're going to look at it. I'm going to read it again. We're going to read through it a little bit here. 6 verse 1. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard as it were the noise of thunder, and one of the four beasts saying, "Come and see." And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on it had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, "Come and see." And there went out another horse that was red. Okay, this is the four horsemen of the apocalypse, right? And power was given to him that sat thereon, and to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. So this is war, right? This is war. People are going to be very angry. The love of many shall wax cold, and people will war against each other, nation against nation, person against person, and they will kill one another. There will be plenty of bloodshed. Okay, this particular seal, bloodshed will increase, murder will increase, violence shall increase. What do we have now? What do we see now today? What's going on with our nations today? What's going on with men running up into malls and schools, and people running and bombing places? What about young ladies, aborting their children, or killing and abusing their children and shoving them in microwaves? The love of many shall wax cold. What about wives, and they're taking their husband, and they're drugging them, and then they're mutilating their bodies, putting it in garbage disposals? What about men absolutely just destroying, killing, slaying one another with very little provocation? Used to be an epidemic of gang violence, drive-bys, civil unrest with Molotov cocktails. The love of many shall wax cold. Verse 5. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, "Come and see." And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on it had a pair of balances in his hand. Talking about economic upheaval and unrest. What's going on in our economy right now? What's going on world economics? We're moving towards one world currency. If you're here in the West, the dollar is losing its strength. Inflation is going through the roof, which simply means that your dollar buys less and less and less. That same loaf of bread that was 75 cents went to $1, went to $1.50, went to $2, went to $2.50, $3. Same for eggs. Look at meat now. Inflation is crippling people. These economic scales are way out of whack. I had an opportunity to travel to other countries, developing countries, or what some people may call third world countries even, and the prices are way different, much more affordable for the same items, the same eggs, the same bananas, the same avocados, for a fraction of the cost. But here in the West, and so yes, we're making more money, but we're spending more. And inflation is increasing much higher than our wages. He said, and when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat upon him had a pair of balances in his hand. Verse 6, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts saying, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. And when he had opened the fourth seal, and I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, come and see. And I looked, and I beheld a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth, with the governments. There's a lot, martial law, civil unrest, riots, war, death. This will be increased. Some say, oh, well, Brother Robert Moray Reed, listen, that's been happening. Yes. But the magnitude, the frequency, the intensity, much like birth pains, it is increasing evermore until it hits its crescendo, which I'm afraid hasn't hit that yet, but it is on the way. It is well on the way. And number 9. And when he had opened the 5th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God and for their testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? And white robes were given unto every one of them. And it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled. See, everyone's going to have to go through something. Everyone's going to have to go through something till it be fulfilled. So I ask you, are some of these things happening right now? Some of these seals. Remember, we're not in trumpets yet. We're just talking about seals. And this is conditions of the earth. These are events that are occurring in the earth. This is setting the stage. This is the atmosphere that we're going to be under during the end times, during these seals. All these things are going to increase. Many more deaths are going to happen. Whether it's war, whether it's abortion, whether it's murder, human trafficking. All these things are going to increase, happen all the more. And that is that rider named Death, and hell comes. Hell is the grave, right? We hear in some of these countries wars that are going on. Guys, there's wars going on all the time somewhere in the world. Somewhere. Big or small. And it's only going to increase. It is only going to ramp up. What's going on in the Middle East? What's going on in Jerusalem? What's going on in the warring countries in Africa? What's going on right here in the West on our soil? What's going on with Korea? Come on, we can just keep going. There's always some sort of conflict somewhere, small or great. All we have to do is pay attention, not be drunk with wine, not be so distracted. We're going to continue. 12. And I beheld when he had opened the 6th seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black and sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and the bondmen, and the free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the earth, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. So we know this is Messiah because we've all seen a lamb, and they don't look very ferocious, right? Doesn't seem like they have much wrath now, does it? For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? So it is coming, right? So we're coming up into this particular seal, right? Which seal is this? The 6th one, 7th one? Let's see here. Beheld. Oh yeah, the 6th. So we're going to get into the opening of the 6th seal. That's what's coming. The other seals are open, but the 6th seal, that's what's coming right now. Because I know that's not right now because he's not here. But we have to understand something. We keep thinking everything is in an instant. No. Some things unfold. Some things unfold. To the Lord, 1,000 years is a day, and a day is as 1,000 years. Some things unfold a little bit. And so it is happening. Now, obviously, when he cracks open those clouds, they're just probably going to just pop open. Boom, there he is. Full-blown invasion. Okay? I don't think that's going to unfold over 1,000 years. That's going to come in an instant. But my point is not everything is going to be, everything that we read in prophecy, obviously it's not going to happen in an instant. It unfolds over time, depending on which one depending on which prophecy we're talking about, depending on which event we're talking about. Okay? So, from there, we're going to go ahead and go to Matthew 24. And this is where we get some of this unfolding, because of things in Matthew 24 started to happen, started to unfold, and is still unfolding unto this day, right? So he prophesied this about 40 years before it happened, roughly 40 years before it happened. And then it happened in 70 AD, right? So we're going to look at it, right? But it's continuing to happen. And I'll point out a few things that hasn't happened yet. There's some things that has happened in the prophecy, in the chapter of Matthew 24. But there's a few things that has not happened. That's what confuses people sometimes. So we're going to look at Matthew 24. And we'll pretty much read up until 31, right? Maybe a little further, but we'll see. Matthew 24. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto him, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? 3 questions. And he's going to answer. We got to understand, this is not the same question. These are 3 different questions. Verse 4, and Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. Okay, so let's start with that one. One, there's going to be a lot of false Christs. What we've had over the last 40 years. Now, there's been false Christs since the 1st century. But even in our time, in our day, we've seen a lot of false messiahs, right? Not everyone called themselves the Christ, but we had a lot of false messiahs out there. And people drank the Kool-Aid, as it were, and been fooled today. A lot of people venerate and have a lot of respect for their pastors. Too much respect, because they're led falsely. unfortunately. So there's nothing wrong with a Bible teacher. I'm teaching. There's nothing wrong with a pastor. Okay? Nothing wrong with that. It's only something wrong with it if they're not teaching you and guiding you. If they're not feeding you with knowledge. That's the difference. Not just hope, not just feel good Kool-Aid to make you feel better on everything. That to tell you to point out things that are pleasing in the Most High sight and the things that he does not like, regardless of how we feel about it. That's the difference. The one that's going to feed you with knowledge and understanding, with your feelings set aside. That's the kind of pastor that's what you gotta follow. That's what you gotta understand. Like, okay, this guy, he just lays it on the line. It doesn't matter how I feel, and it is lining up with Scripture. He is using certain method. He understands eschatology. He understands bibliography, the makeup of it. He understands the various debates are out there when it comes to the Bible. He understands exegesis and eisegesis, interpolation. Notice I didn't say, oh, well, he's very charismatic or he's a very eloquent speaker, or those are just cherries on top, right? That can't be the number one thing. He's very, very funny. That's just kind of cherries on top. That's just packaging. What you need is substance. Because there's going to be many false Christs. Let us continue. In verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, to see that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. See, those things are going to happen, and it's not the end yet. Those things are going to happen, and the end is not yet. They happened in their day. Look at 70 AD, when the Romans came and ransacked Jerusalem and ran the Israelites out, and there was millions of them there. And the Romans ran them out of there, and that happened 2,000 years ago. And there's been wars and rumors of wars ever since. Right? Verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines. We've had that, and there's be pestilences, and we've had that, and earthquakes, and we have that in diverse places. You go and Google it, you got earthquakes under the sea, under the ocean right now, daily, okay? That's how you get tsunamis. We have earthquakes, obviously on land, we have earthquakes all the time, all over the world. Sometimes it doesn't register very high, is where you get the Richter scale. Okay? And in diverse places. And all these are the beginnings of sorrow. All these are the beginnings of sorrow. That's why I said it unfolds. It doesn't just pop out all at once. It unfolds. It is the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. For those who dare to be righteous, how dare you have the audacity, the unmitigated gall, to follow Torah, to have faith in the Messiah? How dare you do that? How dare you observe the holy days, the dietary law, the Sabbath? How dare you do that? And how dare you do it, but you certainly better not point it out to other people. How do you think you're going to be identified, Israel? They don't believe you are who you say you are. And then on top of that, for you to try to have the audacity to live what this book says and to look like you're doing it. That's the part that they're going to deliver you up, right? Because you one of them. Deliver up and hated for all nations for his name's sake, because you're messianic. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. Oh, you can't judge me. Your truth is your truth. My truth is my truth. Who are you to say I can't eat bacon? Who are you to say that I'm supposed to be worshiping on Saturday instead of Sunday? I worship every day. My God knows my heart. Who are you to point these things out? You're going to be hated, brothers and sisters, and it's only going to get worse. And it's going to build all the way up to its time to take the mark. So you think this is going to be just all easy peasy? No, sir, and no, ma'am. It's not going to be easy peasy. It's going to be a little rough. And then many shall be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many, selling you a bunch of wolf tickets, a bunch of baloney, a bunch of malarkey, right? Telling you things that don't line up with scripture, that does not line up or align itself with the character of the Most High or the Messiah. Just telling you stuff to make you feel better. And some people are going to get it hook, line, and sinker. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. There will be no love. There will be no love. There will be only hatred. And it's going to feel justified in their heart. They're going to feel like they're doing the right thing. The people doing it, committing evil against you, they're going to feel like they're doing the right thing. People will lack compunction. They will not even blink before they do something evil to you or your family. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. There's your savings grace right there. There's where you can do your happy dance right there. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. After all these things, and then shall the end come. Now, a lot of this has happened. 70 AD happened, and then the end shall come. That was the end of Jerusalem. Now we're going to talk about the end of the world, right? That's what I'll tell you. It'll happen small, then it'll happen big. Right now, this was the end of Jerusalem. 70 AD was the end of Jerusalem. Israel's not there anymore. And you got other nations fighting over the territory that neither one is Israel, right? Okay. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso read it, let him understand. Whoso read it, let him understand. So, when this false idea of sacrifices being set up, okay, it's going to fool some people. Yeah, we should be sacrificing. So, when an abomination of desolation, someone's going to stand up in a new temple will be built. Someone will stand in the temple. They're going to reenact sacrifices or reinstate sacrifices not approved by the Most High God. Greece did that when they were sacrificing pigs and stuff like that. You look at it, the Romans tried to do stuff like that, similar. Smaller scale, watch it happen on a grander scale, brothers and sisters. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. See, that's to tell you, Greece did it and Rome did it. Now this time right here is Rome, okay? Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. No, once it's over, it's over. This is talking about 70 AD. When it happens, it's over. Flee, run for the hills, right? This is it. It's over. And woe unto them that are with child, pregnant, or have a newborn, and to them that give suck in those days. That is with a newborn. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time. All right, up into 70 AD. Nor ever shall be. It's going to be much, much worse. Okay. And the end. Okay. And except those days be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Talking about, again, 70 AD. For the elect's sake, Israel's, except it be shortened, there would be no Israel today. Okay? Unless those days be shortened. There will be none of us today. We would not be in the Americas, as plural, or into the other corners of the earth. Will be nowhere to be found. Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Okay, those who are actually Israel and those who actually have biblical knowledge would be fooled by the things that are going to occur. For as the lightning coming out of the east and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will be eagles to gather together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. This is what's coming. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from four winds, from one end of heaven to the earth. One of the reasons why we know 70 AD was not the complete and utter end is because this has not happened. Matter of fact, in 70 AD was when Israel was scattered, when they had to go off into Africa and in the Trans-Saharan and all of that. This was when Israel was scattered. They weren't gathered. They didn't gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other one. No, they wasn't gathered. They were scattered at that time. Heading down into Africa. That's how a lot of Hebrews were still down in Africa, so they can blend in. The only difference was, their customs. The Torah and the customs, that was different. The language. And it spread through. Then he went to the Trans-Saharan slave trade. You see what happened with that? And then once that settled for a little while and the Europeans came to Africa, what do you think happened to the Hebrews at that on the west coast of Africa? So this was a scattering to the four winds. That's why I say it all didn't happen at the same time. None of the gathering gathered up for slavery, but none of the gathering with the Most High and his angels, none of that happened. Not in 70 AD. That's why I said it's coming. It's unfolding. It's coming. This is the difference. That's why I said we got to look at, depending on the context. Did this happen yet? No. Did this happen? Because we can look at some things and say, okay, well, that happened, but this didn't happen. But this happened, but that didn't happen. Right? We can look at those things. So that's why, and then if you read the rest of the verse, you start looking at, so this is the conditions. This is what it's going to look like when it all does happen. This is what it's going to look like. These are the conditions, like an untimely, like the fig tree, so on and so forth, right? But we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. Let's go to Isaiah 24. Isaiah 24. We may look at some more Matthew 24 here in a minute. May go back and look at some more, but for now, let's go to Isaiah. Isaiah 24. We're going to start at 19. Isaiah 24, and we'll read 19 to 21. The earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean, dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage. The transgressions thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. Okay, so he's saying all these things are going to happen. These are the type of things that are going to happen in those last days when he comes to judge, right? So let's go, we're going to go to verse 1 through 3, same chapter 24 of Isaiah. Behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty, and make it waste, and turn it upside down, and scattered abroad the inhabitants thereof. And it shall be as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with the master, and with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury to him. The land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for the Lord has spoken this word. So when he's come, it's not going to matter who you are. Everyone's going to be treated the same. He won't be a respecter of persons when he shows up to set everything aright. There'll be no respecter of persons. No one will have preeminence. He's going to come and he's going to separate the wheat from the tares. You're either a wheat or you're a tare. That's it. In that day, that's what's going to happen. These are the conditions when it all happens. I'm going to go back to Matthew 24. I didn't intend, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. We want to look at some of these conditions. Let's go back to Matthew 24, and then we'll come back to Isaiah real quick. Go back to Matthew 24. I'm going to read a little bit more. Look at 32. Now learn a parable of the fig tree when its branch is yet tender and put it forth leaves. You know that summer is nigh. Summer is close. The summer is nigh. So we're getting an idea. So we're getting an idea because over in Revelation was looking at, the untimely fig tree when it's shaken and all that, right? So I wanted to read that. So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the door. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled, right? So they saw the beginning of it. A lot of them, contemporaries in that day at that time, were still alive when 70 AD came around, because you're talking about like year like 32, 33 or something, when he's building somewhere between 30 and 33. Okay, so it's like I said, it just that we're talking about up to 70 AD when it happened. So these people were alive, they were seeing it. Okay, but of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. And we're not going to know the day and the hour, right? So this generation won't pass away. That means someone of that generation saw it, right? Some saw it more than others because some people didn't make it. Some people died. Some people fled, right? But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. He says, for as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking and marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. That's how we're going to be today. And knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Then shall two be in the field, the one shall be taken and the other left. Two women shall be grinding at the mill, the one taken and the other left. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord does come. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. Therefore, be ye also ready, for in such an hour as you think not the Son of Man cometh. Who then is faithful and wise servant, whom his Lord had made ruler of his household, to give them meat in due season, to give you your reward. Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Shall find so doing. We'll come back to this another time. I wanted to set the table, wanted to set the stage, kind of give you an idea. What's it gonna be like? I also wanted to point out the picture of it spreading, that is unfolding over time. Not just one event and boom, everything happens. No. Spreading. Your ancestors saw some of the events. The next generation saw a little bit more. 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 The next generation saw a little b right? There's a generation of our ancestors, they saw the beginning of slavery. Some of them were born into the middle of slavery. Some of our ancestors came towards the end of slavery and saw a little bit. And some of our ancestors saw it, go away and there's freedom and stuff. See, it all unfolds over time. So don't listen to the naysayers. They're like, oh, well, this is supposed to have been happening. Everything, we're looking at everything just unfold. Everything starts to happen a little by little by little by little. I mean, look at the example of technology, if you will. Look at what we see now. Some of us are born in a generation to where there was in the past, there was no phone, right? Or maybe there was no television. Okay, so this is Big Mama and before that and all that, right? But some are in a generation where there was no television, and then there was television, or no radio, then there was radio, right? And then look at the different mediums that we see now, right? So there was records and 8-tracks and cassettes and CDs, and there's people alive who've seen all of it. There's a house phone, then this big, large mobile phone, or car phone, then a mobile phone. Then they got smaller and smaller and smaller. Now they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And some people saw all of it. The beginning of it, all the way up until now. Technology is advancing more and more and more and more and more and more. Eight tracks, records, CDs, MP3s. Right? Betamax, VHS, DVDs. Laserdisc came and went. DVDs to Blu-rays. Transitioning from that to streaming. And some people have been alive to see all of it. Some people were just born into it. Gen X, Gen Z, millennials. Remember, some people were around when there was no cell phone, and some people were born and there was a cell phone their entire life. So we have to understand these things unfold. Just like when it talks about us seeing the Messiah, you're gonna see him. He's gonna come on a cloud. And all eyes will see, and all the technology's here now for that to be possible now, isn't it? What happens when a disaster strikes or tragedy strikes where people pull out their phone, they go live? Oh, that's powerful now. So what would happen if something so great was happening up in the sky and millions and millions and millions of people pull out their cell phone? Aren't most people in their cell phone already? Or is that true already? People are in their cell phone already? Someone's going live, someone sent a text, hey, check this out, man, you gotta look at this. Oh. Wasn't possible 2,000 years ago. I mean, technologically. It's possible now. And all eyes will hear, every knee shall bow, all that, Does technology make it possible now? That's my question to you. Does it make it possible right now? Let's continue. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. Go one more place, wrap it up. We're at Isaiah, go back to Isaiah 24. Okay, we're going to 1 through 6 real quick. Okay, Isaiah 24. Okay. Behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty, and make it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattered abroad the inhabitants thereof. And it shall be as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, and with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the takers of usury. So with the giver of usury, to him the land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled. The Lord has spoken this word. The earth mourned and faded away. The world languished and faded away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. The earth also, is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinances, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore has the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. This is how it's going to happen. This is how it's going to end. And few men left. There'll be a little flock. Brothers and sisters, we're just dealing with seals. We hadn't even gotten to the trumpets yet. And we'll get to that. See, the seals are more or less the conditions of what's going to happen. We'll get to the trumpets. We'll get to that. This is towards the end, brothers and sisters. This is what it's going to look like. We can take our current conditions and say, wow, this really sounds like what the Bible's talking about. Because we can walk our way backwards. We have to first understand the symbolism. We have to understand the apocalyptic language. First, we understand that. And then we say, what would that look like today? Because we understand that John is describing what he sees in this vision in the language he understands, in the words he understands, because he knows it's a future vision. But then here we are in modern day, and we have to say, okay, so how is what he's talking about, John, the Revelator, how is what he's talking about, how is it possible? What could that look like? And there you have it. So this is the first part. 7 seals, 7 trumpets. This is part 1. We will get into part 2. I hope many people that are watching, I hope you are edified by this lesson. And please, this is only part 1. Join me for the second part of this lesson. Now, before you get out of here, please let me encourage you to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Smash that notification bell, because I don't want you to miss any of our lessons. Check the description box down below. Donation links are there if you feel so inclined. So until next time, search the scriptures and prove all things. Shalom, Israel.